Hey, welcome to the training, everybody. My name's Trevor, and today we're doing product adding on Volusion. Volusion being your website software you guys are learning about right now, and this is going to show you specifically how to add individual products from your supplier to your Volusion website. Okay, this is actually the fourth video in a series we've been doing. If you haven't seen any of the other three, talk to your coach, and you can see the other ones that we produced for product adding. Okay. Let's start from the very beginning, though. Let's start from the very beginning. I'm going to log out of this account here. Okay. If you have a website right now that you're wanting to build, or you have one that's been built for you that you're wanting to add product to, last week we showed you how to create categories. And I'm going to create a quick one right here so that we have something to add our products to. Today, we're not going to go into every little bit of detail on product adding, but we're going to do at least some of the basics, so you guys should be able to get products added onto your site pretty easily. Okay, so start by logging into your Volusion, and that's what I'm going to do right now on this site. And on any site, you should be able to find like a sign-in section. And this is a sign-in for returning customers. Well, I'm not a customer, I'm an admin, and you are too. So you should have a login into your Volusion page, and put in your username and password and hit login. If you can't get in for some reason, again, contact us, contact your coach. We can help you get into your Volusion. Now, once into your Volusion, you should come to a dashboard like this. If you don't come to a dashboard, a lot of times, sometimes when you log in, you'll be out looking at your website. If you are, start by coming up here to this little white icon here at the top left called Manage Store. And if you click on that, that will take you here into your dashboard. Now, last week we talked about adding categories, and I'm going to add one just really quickly. I'm going to go here, Inventory and Categories. We're going to hit this Add button right here. And I'm going to come here under Category Name, and I'm going to put Test Category. And I'm going to do what we always do when we add categories. I'm going to select Show in Menu, Nav Menu 1. I'm also going to come down here to Product Display. I'm going to do Responsive Grid for the product display mode. And I'm going to come down here and do No and No for Show Description and Show Description Short. That should be something you do with all categories that you create. And I'm going to save that, and that'll be our category. I understand I went fast there. If you haven't seen the categories training, go watch that. We're probably going to do a follow-up on categories here in the next couple of weeks and just make sure you guys understand some of the advanced stuff as well. So I'm going to get off of categories here, and I'm going to start adding products. Okay, so there's two ways to start that process. Number one, probably the easiest way, is if you're in your Volusion dashboard, you come over here to Inventory, okay, and then you're going to select Products right here. Inventory and Products. And can I just remind you guys before you start, just as a tip, when you're using Volusion, can you make sure you use Google Chrome when you're using the Volusion software? Volusion is much more compatible with Google Chrome than any other internet browser. So if you don't have Google Chrome on your computer, I'd encourage you to download it. The download is simple. Just go to google.com/Chrome, just like this, google.com/Chrome, and make sure you have Chrome downloaded to your computer and that you're running Volusion off of Chrome. Okay? If you do that, you'll have better luck. The software will work much better for you. Okay? All right. So in fact, I'm going to put just while we're doing this, I wanted to take a couple of notes for you guys, and you can take some notes on your own if you're here with me live. But I'm going to say number one, as a tip, use Google Chrome. Here's the address for it, google.com/Chrome. Okay. I don't know if you can see this very well, but on my computer, the Chrome icon looks like this. You see this little color wheel with this red, green, and yellow with the blue center. That's the Chrome icon right here. If you've got it on your computer, that's what you're going to use to run things. Okay. Google Chrome. All right. I preached Google Chrome enough. I talked about it in the other trainings too. So I'm going to leave that for now. So here we are in the product section, right? And step one is we need to click this Add Product button. Okay, Add Product right here. So we went Manage Store, Inventory Products, and then we're going to select Add Product. Now, with any product, there's some essentials when you're going to try to add one of these. Okay, and the essentials that actually have an asterisk by them, a little red asterisk by them right here. You see that? Name, code, price, weight. See how they all have this little red star? That means it's a required field, meaning you cannot add a product unless you have something in these 4 fields right here. You can add a product without a picture if you want. You can even add a product without a description if you want. It'll take it. We wouldn't want to do that, of course, but it would essentially take it. But you have to have these 4 items to even make it work, okay? Now, before you start, I like to use tabs when I'm adding products, okay? I feel like it's the easiest way to do it. I know some people like to try to create some kind of a split screen effect on their internet in order to add products. I think tabs are fine. What I mean by tabs is up here at the very top with my Chrome, you'll notice I have several tabs, right? You see these up here? Okay, these are my tabs up at the top. You can see my mouse clicking on them in the page changing. I have in my first tab right here my Volusion site. I have here in my second tab currently Walmart.com, and that's only because for our purposes today, we're going to use Walmart as our supplier. Okay, your supplier might be a wholesale drop shipper, or it might be Amazon or somebody else, but suffice it to say your supplier should be in, I like to have them in my second tab next to my Volusion tab. See that? And then I have my notes here in a tab for you guys, and then I have my YouTube page. I'm just going to close down this YouTube page, so I'm going to hit this X up here on the right-hand side of my tab, and it'll close that tab down. Now I only have these 3 windows, okay? See how quickly I can just kind of click through them? All right. If you want to create a new tab within Chrome, you can just go File and then New Tab right here. You see that? File at the top and then New Tab. That's going to create a little tab right up here. It might show up as a blank page. It might show up as google.com, but you can change this page to whatever you want. I could come up here and type in amazon.com, and that would change the tab to Amazon. And then I could take this tag, I can click it, and I can drag and drop it wherever I want. I could drag it right here next to my first tab. I can drag it to the ending of my tabs that I have open. I could even close the tab by hitting the X, okay? It's pretty, so you might say, Trevor, what does this have to do with anything? Well, I think being able to flip between 2 screens very quickly when you're adding products into Volusion is essential. You got to be able to do that, because if I'm going to be getting information from my supplier and essentially copying and pasting it over into my Volusion web builder, I have to be able to move screens back and forth. And I think by far this is the easiest way to do it if you just go one tab to another, okay? Guys, for those of you guys that are here live with me, are there any questions about tabs? Is that pretty clear? Or can I clarify anything there before we go on? I'm going to say number 2 while we're waiting on your comments. We'll say use tabs in your browser. Okay, if you don't know how to do that very well, we've got other trainings that show that a little bit better. But I want to make sure we're all clear on that. You can get a little fancy with it, right? Let me just show you this real quick. I can click on my Walmart tab, and I can click and drag it out of the tab and make it its own window like this. And then I could take my arrow right here at the side, and I can size it down and make it like half page like this. And then I could grab my my Volusion, and I could do the same thing. I could grab it, and you see how I grab it at the side of the window, and I can shrink it a little bit like this. See that? So I'm shrinking it down a little bit, and then I could, I can create this sort of half-page effect. See that? So I've got Volusion open, and then I've also got Walmart open, and I can add products back and forth like this. So I can grab my information here from Walmart, and on the same screen, I can come over here and add it to my Volusion product page. I know some people like to do like the screen splitting. I don't prefer it. I think the tabs are easier. So I'm going to grab this Walmart tab, click and drag, and I'm going to drag it back over into the tab section, increase the size of my screen yet again, and there we go. We're back to the one screen. Tab in and out, okay? Hopefully you guys get that. If you need some practice with it, that's fine. It'll take some practice, but that's going to make you a much more efficient product adder, which we need you to become. Okay, so let's find a product to start with. I'm going to grab something random here on Walmart. Let's grab a pet product, we'll say. Okay, let's do this. Let's do something that's simple. Maybe this one right here. All right, here you go. This is a Midwest 18-inch iCrate dog crate. Okay. Assuming, of course, Walmart here is my supplier. If this, again, they're my supplier in the example, your supplier, you should be using. Okay, so here's the first thing I'm going to do. Let's make it easy. Let's highlight the title of the product, and let's right-click and copy, okay? And then let's come back over here to Volusion, right-click, and paste. See how I did that? That's just a simple copy and paste, right? Highlight the text, right-click, copy, and then here in the open name window, right-click and select the paste option. Now there's quicker ways to do that, isn't there? There's shortcuts, aren't there? I could, instead of doing the roll right-click thing, I can highlight, and then I know you can't see this, but on my keyboard right now, I'm going to hold down the Command or the Control button and then hit the C button. That automatically copies the text. Then I can come back here in the name section, and I can put my cursor there. I got to click and put my cursor there, and then I can hold the Command button or the Control button and hit V in order to paste it. V is in Victor. So that's Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac for copy. Control V is in Victor or Command V for paste. Okay. Quick copy and paste. I know that seems a little silly, but it actually will really speed you up if you're doing this. You shouldn't have to retype everything. You got to be able to copy and paste, right? There's the name. Easy enough, right? Number 2, code. Now the code is something for you, really. It's for you to be able to keep track of your products. Now, I always say, especially if I have several suppliers where I'm bringing product from 3 or 4 different suppliers onto one website, what happens if somebody buys a product from, a couple of my suppliers at once? I need to know where those products are coming from, and so this is a great section to create a little code for yourself. So, assuming that Walmart is, of course, one of my suppliers, I might preface my code with WM dash, like that. And I'll know if this item sells that this specific product is from Walmart, WM dash. That signifies Walmart. And I just made that up, right? And then I could go ahead and I could make up my own number, which doesn't really mean anything, right? So there's no rules on this code because it's for you. You can make up the number if you want, or if they've got some kind of an identification number. I'm going to look through the product here and see if they've got like a SKU number. Here's a Walmart number right here. Maybe that would help me find it in the future in case I sold it. For you and your supplier, it might be a UPC code. It might be an item number, a SKU number, whatever. There's usually some kind of identification number, and that's probably what you should use. So for this example, I'm going to copy this 554-297-601, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paste it right here, okay? So I got my code. Now it will be easy. When I sell this thing, I'm going to know just exactly where it comes from. It comes from Walmart, WM, with this little number right here, which I could easily search Walmart's database for. If it was an Amazon product, maybe I do AMZ, like that, right? If it was a Target product, maybe a TG, like that, right? You make up your own code. Nobody's going to know what that means, and this is, after all, for you anyway, more so than anybody else, okay? Okay, let's talk about price for a second. Now, price should work a little bit like anything that you do. If you've sold on eBay, there's a few things you need to consider when you're pricing your product, okay? You should have, well, maybe I'll make some notes here. We'll call this pricing a product. And we could go into a lot of detail on this, but I'm going to keep this really short and easy. Number one, you need to factor in your cost from supplier. Okay, that would be like the raw price. So in this case, I think my raw price here is $23.43 from Walmart, right? So cost from supplier, $23.43. Okay. Next thing we need to consider is there shipping? Does your supplier charge you shipping? And if they do, I'd like to see most of you guys include your shipping amounts into your prices where possible. So on Walmart, I'm not sure how much this is going to be shipping. My guess is most of their products are $5 shipping. So if I'm not going to go through the process because I'm almost positive that's what this will be. I could add it to my cart and I can figure out that it's going to cost me $5 to ship it anywhere. With your supplier, you need to find out what their shipping policies are, right? Because every supplier has different shipping policies. Find out about how much it's going to cost to ship a product. And it won't be perfect because we don't know at this current time where our customer is from. We don't know if they're from California or if they're from New York or from Florida or Michigan or Texas. We don't know. The distance is going to help probably create some sort of a cost and a price for the shipping, but we have to kind of make a good guess based on our supplier's policies. Luckily, Walmart is very easy. We know it's going to be $5, so we're going to make sure we add that in to our price, right? $5. Okay. What about tax? Well, if I'm buying from a wholesale supplier, usually you're not being charged any tax, so you probably don't need to factor this in. If you're listing a product from a retail supplier, you probably will have to factor in some tax. That's going to be about 10% of the sales price. In this case, I can estimate and say, oh, it's going to be, right around, $2.50 or $3. We'll just round up to $3 in this case. Okay. What about merchanting fees? Anytime you sell something off of a website, there's going to be some sort of a merchanting fee. Most of you guys are going to be using PayPal as your merchant. You're going to be about a 2.9% merchanting fee. Okay, those are your costs right there. So that 2.9% is of what you sell it for. So for example, I think my total cost on this, I'm just going to put this over here to the far right so you guys can see this okay. So we're going to say total cost is going to be what? To $29.32. Let's say it's like, $33 total. Okay, that's my total cost. Let's say I decide a lot of times, if you want to get kind of a good general price, sometimes it's best to start at what your supplier recommends. Most suppliers have some kind of a recommended suggested retail price, which makes it really easy because if you've got a suggested retail price, make that your price plus whatever your shipping cost is, and then you can offer free shipping on your site. If it's not so cut and dry and you don't have some sort of a suggested retail price from your supplier, take that $33 in this case, which would be product cost, shipping, and tax, and multiply it by about 1.4. Okay, so 33 times 1.4, that would give me a sale price of about $46 in this case. Okay, $46 is a sale price. If I sold it for that, I'd make money, even if I'm taking out this 2.9% off of my 46, right? So I say take numbers 1 through 3, add them together, and multiply by 1.4. That'll give you a reasonable suggested retail price. This is if you don't get a suggested retail. If you get something like this from a supplier, and sometimes you see this from wholesalers, where they say MSRP is, $99.99. Wholesale price or drop ship price is, $62.99. Well, there you go. Then it's easy. Then probably start by charging right around this price plus whatever shipping is. If you can estimate that shipping is going to be $6 or $7 for that product, you ought to be charging, you know, $108.99 for the product or whatever. Just take this price and add in your shipping, and that can be your I guess your sales price on your site is what I'm trying to say. Oh yeah, Bracky, you said you searched Walmart for the number and it came up easily. Good. You must be talking about this number right here. That's why it's good if this number is relevant. If it's like a SKU number or something for your supplier and it's searchable, it'll be easy for you to find that product when you need to buy it. Yeah, good thought. Yeah, Barbara, I know there's some shortcuts to doing the split screen thing. So, you know, that's something that you can definitely do on your computer. If you're on a Windows computer, she says you hit the window key and the right arrow to send it to the right side of the screen. I'm on a Mac, it works just a little bit differently, but yeah, there's some shortcuts to make that a little bit easier. Hey guys, questions on pricing? Does that make sense? I know I get a lot of questions about how do I price products when I'm first listing them onto my site, and I don't want you to overthink it right now, because honestly, price is really determined by the market. You know, you can charge what you can charge, and sometimes it's very difficult to decide what that is until you get a little experience. And when you're trying to launch a website, the last thing you need to be doing is doing a bunch of price analysis before you do it. Just pick a price that's reasonable based on the suggested retail like I showed you, put it on there, and let's get the site going. We can always adjust the prices up and down as we go, right? Let's keep it simple. That's great for you then, Bracky. You got free shipping on from your supplier. That's great. That makes it easy. Stop me here in a minute if you want to talk about price a little bit more. I'm going to move on. So we're going to say, what did we decide on this product? $46 we decided, right? So we're going to do, I like to do the 0.99 or 0.95. So I'm going to go $46.99 on this. Now the next field that's required is the weight field. You guys should all see this. It's the fourth field down. Weight is only important on Volusion if you're going to be calculating your shipping real time in your shopping cart based on weight and distance, or shipping location, because there's a way you can actually calculate real-time shipping rates through Volusion. I'm not going to talk to you guys about that today. The vast majority of you guys are just going to be offering free shipping anyway, which I think is your best bet as it is. I would recommend you put in just the number 1 for your weight. Why? Because customers don't see this field. I could put in that this weighs 1,000 or 10,000, and I think this is a pounds measurement, by the way, and nobody's going to see that. That's for my internal use only, and for that reason, I don't like to go hunt around for the weight on my products a lot. I just put in a number 1 so that I can move forward. You can't leave this field empty. You have to have something in it, so at least put the number 1 so you can move forward. Okay. So guys, so far we have a name, we have a code, we have a price, we have a weight. Essentially, I could save this product right now, and you'll notice this giant orange save button that showed up here. I'm going to click save real quick so you can see what happens. I've saved the product without a picture, by the way. I need to fix that, and I've saved it without a description. I should fix that too. But since I hit save, if you'll notice, I come back up here to inventory and then products, you're going to see my product is now listed here in my product list. Albeit without a picture, it's still here in my product list. And if I want to edit this, I can just click on it to edit it, okay? And I'm right back to where I was on the product edit screen. Ralph says, what sections of this page does the customer see? Well, so far, they're definitely going to see the name. They're going to see the code. They're going to see the price. They're going to see the description. They're going to see the picture. And then there's some other fields down here that I'll show you here in just a second that they'll see as well. I'll show you that here in just a minute. Description, that should be easy. I'm going to go back over here to my Walmart listing, and I'm going to grab their description. I'm just going to highlight it. right? Just like this. Let me highlight this whole thing, and I'm going to copy it. Now, when I'm adding in description information, I tend to like to click on this button first. You see this button right here. It's called the HTML button. It's a less than symbol / greater than symbol, okay? And if I click HTML, then I paste my description, and you'll notice right when I pasted my description, the Save button came up. And then if I click the HTML button again, it puts my description in this big block of description, okay? What it doesn't do is it doesn't take the formatting from my supplier. So had I not clicked this HTML button and I would have just pasted the description and saved it, I would have taken this same Walmart format where this is bolded and the same font and the same spacing and the bolded list. I would have taken that and loaded it into my product. I don't prefer to do that. I like to do my own formatting later on. So I would prefer just to take this block of information and paste it in here as a block, unformatted, so that everything can be consistent. And I do that through clicking on the HTML symbol first before I paste it in. Let me show you guys that one more time, okay? So by default, when you come to your description, if I paste it in like this, you'll notice it keeps that same formatting. I don't want that formatting. I want my own formatting, so I'm going to delete this out. And instead, I'm going to click the HTML button, and I'm going to paste it in here. And then I'm going to click the button again, and it just gives me a nice block of text. Now, it's not formatted well, but later on, I'm going to need to come back and change this stuff anyway for search engine reasons, so I'm happy with just a block of text. I would prefer that at this stage, okay? The last thing you want is, let's pretend for a minute you've got 4 different suppliers, all of which have a different website and different fonts and different bolding and different formatting on their descriptions. I don't want to paste those from my different suppliers, and so my site has kind of a hodgepodge of different formatting for my descriptions on my products. It'll look a little more unprofessional. I'd rather just what we did right here, okay? Now, here's a little secret. Over the years, there's been a glitch that's happened with our Volusion system. A lot of my clients will come in here when adding products, and they'll paste a description in here, and they'll add a picture, and they'll think they're good to go. They'll hit the Save button, and then guess what? No product description shows up. It's blank when they go look at their product live on the internet. And they wonder why. Well, whenever you paste a description, it's always wise, once you paste it, at the very end to hit the space bar. A couple of times sometimes. So once I paste this and my cursor's over here, I might hit the space bar a couple of times. You can even type in a couple of letters and then delete them. Right? You just need to edit this a little bit. Put in a couple of letters or spaces and then delete them and then hit save, and then you'll always have your description saved. You'll never lose it. It happens all the time. We get calls about it all the time. Hey, I just added 50 products and I copy and pasted my description into the box and I saved it, and then I went back later and they were all gone. Well, to prevent that from ever happening, A, you should make sure you look at your products after you add them. That's one way to make sure your description's showing up. But B, if you're copying and pasting, hit the space bar a couple of times after you paste it in, and you should be in good shape. Yeah, or enter works too, Gail. Sure. It actually doesn't matter what you put in. You just have to put in something. Add a couple of characters, hit the space bar, hit enter, whatever is fine, and that'll work, okay? Well, Bracky, let me answer it this way. Bracky just said, but in the description that's copied and pasted from my supplier, the weight is usually always listed at the bottom of that copied description. Should I not copy that weight part? Well, yeah, you can if you want. You know, and if it's a product where it's important for your customers to know how much it weighs, absolutely put it in. But it doesn't really matter if you put it here in the weight field. If you're offering free shipping, whether you put 1 here or 1,000, your customers aren't going to see that. And if you're not calculating shipping prices, it's not going to matter anyway. So just leave a 1 there. But in your actual description section, you should leave the weight there if it's available, because we want customers to see that weight. All right, good catch. So Cheryl just pointed out my description says for certain items sold by Walmart, all on Walmart.com. Let's make sure we edit that kind of stuff out. I've seen some suppliers that actually have their domain name listed there in their description. And we obviously don't want that, right? So sometimes it pays to look through your description, edit out any information about your supplier before you just simply paste it in. Good comment. Um, yes, Ralph, you can go back and redo any of this. Sure. Okay, so we got our description. So we got name, code, price, weight, description, which, by the way, we'll do more product discussions later, but you've got a toolbar for formatting right here. If you want to do some bold or italics or some underlining or numbered lists, whatever, all of that's right here. We'll discuss that later. Categories. So we need to put this in a category. So you're just gonna, hopefully you've created the category first. You're gonna go select categories right here, and we're gonna select, in this case, our test category. And sorry, my screen is zoomed in too much here. Let me zoom out just a little bit so I can actually make this work. Select categories, test category, and then you hit apply right here. And that will now apply this product to a category. If you don't apply your products to categories, they don't show up on your website anywhere. So that's why in our last training we showed you how to add and edit, manipulate categories, so you then could take products and put them on the shelves, so to speak. It's like your categories are your store's shelves, and when you assign a product to a category, it's like you're taking that product and you're putting it right up on your shelf. Okay. So that we need to do. Now, there's this options section right here, and I'm not going to go over this right now just for the sake of time, but in options, you have the ability to show a product in various sizes and various colors and other types of options. So if I'm selling let's say I am selling this little dog crate, right? And I want to show that I actually have more than just this dog crate. I have one that's a medium crate. I have a large crate. I have an extra large crate. I can create product options right here that will create these little drop downs that are really slick on my website. Unfortunately, we won't have time to show you that today, but that's where you would create those options. We'll show you that on another training. This is just kind of product adding 101 today. So we're going to keep it simple. Image management. Now this is where we're going to add a picture. If we have a picture of this product, you're going to come in here and you're going to click add. And it's going to load up a little window here. And now I'm going to need to choose a file. Okay. If I click choose file, it's going to take me into my computer files and it's going to ask me to choose the picture that's associated with this product. I obviously can't do that unless I first downloaded the picture to my computer. So that's what you need to do before you even consider adding a picture. We need to go out and download a version of this item right here. Now, sometimes with your suppliers, you should be able to download right from their website. I could try that here on Walmart by right-clicking and hitting Save Image As, which it allows me to do, and I'm going to save this on my desktop. Now, notice real quick with me the file name it's going to try to save. See how awful looking that is? All it is a bunch of letters and dashes and numbers, and it's a terrible file name. I would encourage you guys to edit your file names just a little bit. And I'm going to call this an iCrate dog crate. I don't need spaces or dashes. I suppose I could do an iCrate dash dog crate, but that's a much better file name than what I had before. So if you're getting files that have crazy long numbers and letter sequences, sometimes that can prevent it from being able to be added to Volusion. So making the name a little bit better is maybe what you want to do. I'm going to save this to my desktop, and then I can add it into my site. I'm going to come back here, click Add, select Choose File, and I'm going to look for this on my desktop. Here it is at the top. I'm going to open it. the little file name will show up right here next to choose file, and if I hit upload at that point, it should load the item right here into my site, okay? Now, here's the thing. When you're you can add multiple pictures, by the way, and I can delete it or add another one right here, but that adds it in. But guess what's cool about this? It's different from eBay. You don't have to have a picture that's at least a certain size. You don't have to have a picture at all. I mean, this is your site after all. You can do whatever you want with it. So there's no requirements on pictures. But can I recommend that if you can get a picture that's bigger, that's always better, because bigger images produce a really cool effect on Volusion where when you go and look at the product, you get this nice magnification of the product. I won't show it to you right now. I think you guys know what I'm talking about, but you roll the mouse over the product and it magnifies. In fact, maybe I will just show you. Let me hit the save button. And let's go view this. Go view my site again, and we'll see what this product is looking like so far. I'm going to go to my test category up here at the top. And there's my product, and I'm going to click on it once so I get the main product page. And let's see if I've got the zoom effect on this. Nope. It's not zooming. Guys, why is it not zooming right now? Why am I not getting, you know what I'm talking about? You put your mouse on a product image and it gives this nice little zoom in action. It's not zooming because it's not big enough. The original image, which I downloaded from Walmart, which is this one right here, isn't big enough to create a zoom. If I want this to zoom, I need a bigger image, and I could go out here to google.com/images, which is what I'm going to do right now, and I'm going to paste in my my product title into Google Images, and I'm going to do a search, and I'm going to see if I can find a big version of this, or bigger than what I have. This one's 450 by 450. I don't think that's the same product. You want to make sure you've got the same product too, right? Hey, this one's good, but I don't think that's the same product. Oh, no, it's not, because this is the 18. Wait. No, I have the 18. This right here is a bigger version of it. I know it's a bigger version because it says it's 2000 by 2000. And if right here, if I've clicked on it, I can hit View Image, and it looks like, yeah, I guess maybe the picture's not available. It says it's not available. Huh. Okay. This might be a little bit bigger. No, it says it's not available, so I'm not gonna. I could save this version of it, but the 2000. If I want to get the 2000 by 2000 version, I have to click View Image to get it, or maybe even just try to right-click and save this one. We can try this real quick. I'm gonna call this I create 2. Whoops. Save image. I create 2 and save it to my desktop. Let's go back here to my product. We're gonna edit the product again, right? So I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna delete this picture, and then I'm gonna add my new picture. See if it's any better. Here's my I create 2. Upload. I know I'm going a little fast, but we've got to get through more of this stuff. And if you don't get a save button at the bottom of your screen, I came back up to the description and I hit a space bar at the end and it gave me a save button. I always like to do that just to make sure everything saves. So I saved it. Let's go back out to the store, test category. Let's click on this picture, and nope, not getting a zoom. Now I can click on the picture and it's going to bring up another version. It brings up like a little pop-up of it, but clearly my image isn't big enough, okay? And so therefore I'm not going to get a zoom effect. And sometimes it is what it is. If your supplier doesn't give you a bigger image, unfortunately, no matter what you want to do, you're not going to get a better image than what you're going to get from your supplier. Or if you go out to Google Images and you can't get a better image, it is what it is. You're stuck with it unless you want to buy it and take your own pictures of it, which I suppose is always an option. But for most of you, I don't think that's the most reasonable thing. So get the best picture you can, get the biggest picture you can, load that in, and that should give you the zoom effect if it's big enough. Okay. Let's see if I'm missing any comments here. Yeah, always hit the save button after you do the description, Cheryl. Yep. I agree, Bracky. Unfortunately, Volusion doesn't let you add multiple pictures at one time. You have to one by one add multiple pictures. So yeah, I'd have to go. If this had 6 pictures, I'd have to add one at a time. Nope, Jeff. No formatting issues. You can have whatever size pictures you want. Yeah, there is, Gail. Maybe this is the plus for the to increase the size of the picture. I can right click and maybe save this. Maybe this will be bigger. Again, I've got that really nasty looking product name. I'll call this iCrate 2. We'll save it. And let's go back to this one more time. Delete. We're running out of time. These webinars go by way too fast. We've got way too much to cover. Add this new one in. Make sure I'm going to come back up here to my description and hit a space just so I can save. And let's see if this worked any better. Nope. Oh, yep. There you go. See that? So that's a big enough picture to where I can do it. Good catch, Gail. See that? That's much better. So I like that effect. I think that's a really nice effect if you can get a bigger picture, that automatic zoom. Okay? Okay. It's enough about pictures. If you have problems with pictures, let us know. But that's kind of the basics right there. There are, however, I wanted to say this. When you're on a product, if you want to go back and just edit the individual product you're on, come up here to the edit option at the top right if you're looking at your site, and then you can select this product, and that allows you to edit the product that's at hand. Richard and Virginia, you ask about Pixlr. You can use Pixlr to increase the size of an image, but here's the problem. If you have an original image and you increase the size of it, while increasing the size of it, it also distorts the quality. So if I've got an image that's kind of small and I want it bigger to create the zoom in effect, if I increase the size within Pixlr, it's gonna mess up the quality and it's not gonna look good at all. So I say don't increase the size at all. Just take the image for what size it is, and if it's not big enough to get the zoom in effect, oh well, it's going to be better that way than distorting it with an increase in size. Okay, so that is the picture. Now, a couple of things just real quick I want to address with you guys. You can load in YouTube videos. If you have a video that's associated with your product, you can do it here. We won't have time to go over that right now. There's a section called Advanced Info. There's a section right here under Advanced Info called Search Engine Optimization. This will be a section you use later on. I won't recommend you use it right now because you're busy adding in products. You can come back to this later, and you should come back to this later because most of the editing that takes place here requires a fair amount of keyword research, which we haven't done quite yet. Pricing, there's a pricing section here. You can actually put products on sale by putting in a sale price here, which will cross out a normal price and put a red sale price. That can be done by just putting it right here. There's some other things here, but I'm not going to cover these right now. Under shipping, if you want the item to be free shipping, you need to make sure you click free shipping right here. Okay. I think by default, most of your products will have that check mark in it, which is good. A question I get a fair bit is, hey, how do I, if I have a product that goes out of stock, what should I do with it? Should I delete it off my site? Can I just show that it's out of stock? You should not delete it off your site. You want to keep it on your site so that search engines continue to rank it. But what you'd want to do is under availability, you can select one of these options over here. Currently unavailable is a good one. Maybe it's on back order, right? So if I click that currently unavailable, it won't allow somebody to buy it, but it'll show that it's unavailable. Or you can create your own by selecting add custom text, and you can create your own field for what it might say. Okay. Also, if an item is a fixed price, like let's say this crate is huge and it's going to cost more than the average item to ship, I can come in here and I can say it's going to be a $50 flat shipping cost, and that'll add $50 to the price of this thing. You could do that. There's some other shipping options here below as well. Okay, and then other options here. I'm not going to go over all these right now because for the most part you rarely use all these other fields. I'll discuss all these other fields in detail on another time, but really for right now most of you guys are just trying to get the basics done. What you need is a name, which we talked about, a code, which we talked about, price, weight, description, category, and picture. If you'll do all those things and add your products that way, you should do great. And if you're efficient with adding products, I always tell my clients this, you can be adding products very quickly with the bare minimum, like 3 minutes a piece or less. Just boom, 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 boom. You can sit down and knock out 20, 25, sometimes 30 in an hour if you're good at it. Product adding doesn't have to be difficult. And oftentimes it's quick. And all that work a lot of you guys have done on eBay has led up to this point to where you should be fairly good with some of these product adding skills. I think product adding on Volusion is much easier than product adding on eBay. And I think you'll find that as you use this more and more. Okay, good. Yeah, to answer your your question, Kathy. Kathy said, I think you've said this before, but when you're viewing a page that shows several products in one of the categories, I want to hide the description. That's done on a category level. So if I've got a category that's not hiding product descriptions, what I do is I edit that category, Kathy. I'm going to come up here and edit this category, this test category. And you'll come down here to advanced info. And under product display, you're going to want to make a couple of changes. You're going to want to change this top one right here to responsive grid. And you're going to want to take these two options down here below and make them no and no. If you'll do that, your product description won't show up. Okay, any last questions before we finish up? We've got to finish this up because I've got a meeting I've got to run to. We can talk more about category adding and product adding in subsequent weeks. We'll probably do more over the next couple of weeks because there's more that we can talk to. But by this point, you guys now know enough of the basics that you should be able to go in and add products to your Volusion site without too many problems, and add categories to your Volusion site without too many problems. We'll get into some more advanced stuff dealing with product adding as we go along. Free shipping is done on the product level, Bracky. So like I was showing you earlier, if you want to do free shipping, you do it in each individual product. So I click this product to edit it. I come down here to the bottom, and under shipping, I make sure, under advanced info and then shipping, I make sure I select free shipping. Okay. There's actually a shipping section within the builder that can do some pretty advanced stuff under settings and shipping. We'll be covering that in another training coming up. All right, guys, I'd love to answer more questions, but we've got to finish up. For more Volusion trainings, come back to our training next week on Wednesday. We'll be having that again. We'll be adding this to our website, and we'll be posting it online hopefully here in the next few minutes. So if you need to review this, feel free to do it. Hopefully this has been instructive today, even for those of you guys who are currently working on adding products. I hope this has been helpful, and we'll see you guys all next week. Thanks again.